Well, creating a comfortable, functional home seems to be on everybody's to-do list these days. That's why the Michigan Design Center in Troy is holding their biannual homes tour virtually. Hi, I'm Fred Nahhat. Nice to have you along with us as we get an intimate look into the personal homes of 6 seasoned professional interior designers. We'll cover homes across the state, from the Grosse Pointes to Saugatuck, and a lot of cool places in between. And we will hear from the designers themselves as they share their unique insights on the design and planning of their own personal spaces. The first stop on our tour, the home of designer Annie Kordas in Grosse Pointe Farms. Just blocks away from Lake St. Clair is the 4,000 square foot colonial home where designer Annie Kordas lives with her family. Annie is a versatile designer who takes on projects of all kinds. And as you'll see, she has a gift for incorporating cool, original vintage pieces with a lot of original art, making what could have been a very formal home feel fresh and approachable.
Hello, welcome.
Annie Kordas.
Nice to meet you.
Been looking forward to this tour.
Me as well.
Hey, listen, before we get started, what's here to greet us? It's a beautiful throw rug.
Yes, you know what? This is really important to me. But in my home, you're gonna see a lot that I love to blend old and new things. And this is actually my grandmother's hand-knitted rug. And as you can see, the edges are sort of tattered and it's very antique feeling. And I just think it brings a lot of character to the foyer.
Character and love, I'm feeling it. Set on into the parlor. Wow. A lot of great light in here. Also notice a bold choice of color.
Yep, we used to call this the blue room because it was painted navy blue when we moved in, but I wanted to take it a little bit further. So this is actually a Benjamin Moore color called Onyx. It's a shade of black. So I decided to do a black sofa to sort of, produce a chameleon effect with the furniture, little pops of bold red, and I just really wanted the room to feel cozy overall.
I also noticed this painting over here. You got the Madden building, the tower, the old Kobo. Tell me about this, that's dramatic.
Yeah, we love that painting. We really think that it's one of the main conversation starters in our home. And it was actually commissioned from one of my husband's college friends who's a wonderful painter. He does abstracts and landscapes and people. So it's just something that, everyone sort of notices when they're in the space and they love it.
Wow, this is terrific. The living space, same theme of floor-to-ceiling windows, but you parlayed and went with the extraordinarily bright color in here.
I did. Actually, yeah, the color is called Chantilly Lace. It's a very, very, very bright white. And actually, if you notice these paintings over here, little story about me, Fred. I was a French major in college at U of M, and I always loved the Chateau of Versailles and Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette and the French Revolution, or La Révolution Française, as they say. So my husband and I contacted a Spanish artist and had these paintings commissioned, and these paintings actually completely drove the design for the room. But you will notice that there's quite a few modern pieces. So these are actually mid-century modern Pace Lucite chairs that I recovered in a kind of edgy Schumacher damask. This is a mid-century modern table, but then we have the traditional rug as well.
Well, I did sense a little joie de vivre in here.
Yeah, of course.
Accented with some stuff from the last century. Talk about the 360-degree couch. That looks fun.
Oh, it is so fun. I racked my brain about what am I going to put here because we have double archways all over and traffic patterns. But I wanted to put something, I didn't want an empty space, so I found this piece. I put a beautiful rose-colored fabric on it, tried to bring that color throughout the surrounding areas. But actually, Fred, we do entertain quite a bit, and when we have our cocktail parties, people are sitting all around and drinking their champagne. When we have Christmas and holidays here, all of the kids are using it as a jungle gym.
What's great about this, especially this space, is the flow. A lot happening artistically here in the dining room, but let's start with this table.
Yeah, I always wanted a table that sort of was atypical and not your traditional Chippendale dark brown wood table. So this is burl wood, and I just think it's beautiful.
And the chairs?
Well, we brought the French chairs in to kind of tie these two rooms together with those paintings in there. So yeah, I couldn't be more in love with them. I like that it's a mixture of different chairs. A
mix and yet all consistent, tied all the way through to this wall.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, it looks like a wallpaper, but it's actually some wood veneer.
It actually, Fred, is a wallpaper, but it is real wood veneer. So
Amazing.
It's got this beautiful herringbone pattern and obviously a lot of color differentiation throughout, and it just, a lot of dimension on the wall.
Yeah, it really is, gives it some depth. Mm-hmm. Stepping back, there's a fisherman right here behind me telling me Go to the art.
Yeah. So we have a ton of artwork here. And again, I always feel like dining rooms, as a designer, I'm trying to figure out ways to bring in warmth and conversation starters. And it's difficult because you don't have like the beautiful character of fabrics and upholstery as much. So we did a gallery wall here. And most of the art is compliments of my mother-in-law, who is a local oil painter. Her name is Annie Kordas. So we've got paintings all over that she's done. We've got the jazz player, a painting of my two daughters here. We've got my two golden doodles and, you know, a couple Detroit things.
All right, let's check out the kitchen.
Oh, can't wait. So actually, Fred, we did open up this wall here when we moved in. So that was about 10 years ago, but it really kind of allowed more of an openness for the floor plan of the home.
Easier access to the kitchen. Talk about the eating space here.
Yeah.
Plenty of room for a big table.
Yep.
Your choice, smaller table and some soft seating.
Absolutely. We wanted to have sort of like a great room. You know, our kitchen is large enough, it's spacious enough to accommodate, you know, both a TV, soft seating area, and then we wanted to have the bar stools. Notice how I did backless seating everywhere because I needed to be so conscientious about the scale of the furniture because we have so much that we need to, you know, allow for traffic patterns.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
sometimes in Michigan you can actually eat outside.
I wanted to say, I wanted to show you that next.
Let's
So
go check
let's go
that
outside.
out. All right. Well, design need not be limited to the inside of the home. Wherever people gather, you want to put some panache in place.
Of course. So this, Fred, is what we like to call our outdoor family room.
One of the challenges here is to match the exterior brick with the new fireplace. Tell me about that process.
Yeah, you know, it was really tough. It was a guess and check system trying to figure out what kind of brick to use and then the whitewash to get it to match the house. Doesn't match exactly, but nobody's eye is that trained, so we've been able to be successful with that.
And of course you have the green throw pillows tying it all together as an ensemble, plus accenting from the great outdoors.
Absolutely.
Well, let's now take a look at the place where I guess you get your inspiration, the study where you do your work. Well, we find ourselves in the Annie Kordas Interiors personal workspace, but also some great design elements.
I really wanted to do this like nod to the ceiling and the floor. So if you look at the floor, we've got this antelope carpet that's so captivating. And I think this dark green color, I've had so many people just say, what is that color? And what made you put that on the ceiling? And I'm not really sure, but I love it.
Well, if this works for you, and all evidence says it does, keep enjoying it. It's beautiful, beautiful
Thank you
space.
so much, Fred. Thank you.
And the first thing one notices, of course, is this impressive 4-poster bed. It looks like it's from a fine furniture gallery.
Well, it's a little bit old, so we actually had to restore it. We just had it recovered, but fun fact, my upholsterer had to come on site and recover it for a period of 3 days. Everything, the nail head, the fabric, because it was so massive and awkward. So he was nice and did it for me here in my house. So.
Great brad work and accented by the sunburst mirrors over the headboard. Continuing the French theme as well, there's a lot of interesting and unique pieces in here.
Thank you.
Tell me about the window seat.
So it's an antique wrought iron settee, and I recovered it and couldn't love it more.
Not your typical child's bedroom, a lot of vintage stuff, a lot of antiques. Start with the bed.
Oh, well, the beds are, I absolutely love them. They're French. I believe they were sort of updated and hand painted a few years ago to kind of, you know, give them a little bit of a boost. But I feel bad for my daughters because they're actually smaller than a twin size. So we had to do custom mattresses so they get a little teeny spot to sleep in every night, but they're very beautiful.
Inside this space is kind of a microcosm of everything you have going on here. It's your love of French deco.
Yep.
It's, of course, the mid-century modern flourishes here and there.
Of course.
But then these personal touches.
Yep.
So the question as a designer, how is it that you're able to take these 3 elements, and what advice would you give, to blend them in such a perfect harmony?
You know, I feel like sometimes it's just doing, you know, the unexpected and just going with it and taking those risks, and that's what I think really makes a space cool. So we actually did an open closet as well. I took the doors off and I put kind of a complementary wallpaper that was different than sort of the greenery on the walls. But I think, yeah, just going for it and taking that risk and committing, and then as long as you're confident, it usually turns out okay.
Well, making the unexpected delightful.
Yeah.
Annie Kordas, thank you so much. It's been great to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Making ourselves at home here on the front porch of a 1930s bungalow in Grosse Pointe Woods. It is the home of designer Rachel Nelson. Now, as a designer, Rachel specializes in helping her clients maximize space and the bold use of color. And you can see Rachel follows that advice as the living begins before we even head in the front door. Well, here we are in the Rachel Nelson living room. Rach, thanks for having us in.
Absolutely.
These 1930s bungalows, there's a lot of them in this area. You've sort of transformed this one with, maximizing the space.
When we purchased the home, it was actually all white wainscoting with a tan wall color. And it seems to be almost contradictory when you actually paint the wainscoting and the wall, and even those drapery panels were all custom matched so that it actually makes the space feel bigger.
The other thing that I'm curious about is the layout of the room itself.
So when we began, believe it or not, the TV was actually on this wall, and it was really limiting for the floor plan. So they only had a sofa and a chair. And knowing that Joe and I love to entertain and we have a big family, figuring out how to get additional seating in here was a must. And so by relocating the TV to this wall, we were able to put 2 chairs and then extend an L-shaped sectional. It's perfect place to unwind at the end of the day as well as entertain.
All right, Rachel, here in the eating space, I'm immediately attracted to this piece on the east wall in antique.
This is actually my husband's grandparents.
Wow.
And we were so lucky to have inherited it, and we really wanted to give it a new home and make sure it was in an awesome place. And so we decided to put it here and put this wild wall covering behind it, which is one of my favorites.
Again, with that color, giving it that funky theme. Now, in terms of the practical,
Yes.
the tulip table, the single support, again, allows more space underneath, crowding more people around the table.
Nailed it. A tulip table, first of all, I'm a huge fan of mid-century modern furniture, but that tulip table is not only beautiful, but functional. So it really allows us to pull up additional chairs as we're entertaining.
Inspiring people also to make some choices with the chairs. Don't necessarily have to match, just create that ensemble that speaks to you.
Agreed. So many times I think our default in life is to get the set. And when you get the set, there's a bunch of other people who can get the set. And I encourage people to figure out how we can actually personalize it. So by mixing chairs, the different silhouettes, and then even incorporating a bench, your likelihood of somebody else having it, or it just feels like there's more personality inserted into the space. So this was actually at the Michigan Design Center in the R.J. Thomas showroom, and every time I'd come in, I'd comment on how much I loved it. And as soon as they had a sample sale, they called me up and Debbie's like, "It's on sale, it's all yours," and say no more. It was in my house.
Persistence pays off. All
Absolutely.
right, can't wait to see what we got next. Here in the guest bath, Rachel continuing the theme of dark, but also pulling off the birch wallpaper and kind of a birch feel to this tile.
In a small space, again, a lot of times people think, oh, light, bright, and it was, no, let's actually embrace the small footprint and do a really bold graphic, black and white birch tree, and then have some sort of a complementary dark tile that has the striations that, you're right, almost emulate a bark, if you will.
And it's all further emboldened by the turquoise on the ceiling, the turquoise around the mirror and in the cutout.
Don't forget about the ceiling. Just because we grew up with white ceilings doesn't mean that we need to continue the pattern. We can incorporate a pop of color, and so in a black and white monochromatic bathroom, doing a bright bold teal and then incorporating that as these horizontal bars that interrupt the black and white, just a little bit unexpected and almost a sense of whimsy.
And I also like the idea of the chrome molding around the exterior's folds.
I love that you noticed that, 100%. So this is a Schluter piece, and a lot of times people end their tile with a traditional bullnose. There's a time and place for it always, but the contrasting chrome against the dark tile really just accentuated these bold lines and makes a bit of a statement.
Gives it a nice little pop. Well, guests are well served. Well, Rachel, this is where all the inspiration happens, presumably. Your home office, originally a bedroom, surrounding yourself with things that speak to you.
I think that's the biggest thing. So this is where I spend a majority of my days working with our design team. We're still working virtually, but I love having this beautiful antique sofa. That was another antique we got handed down from my husband's grandparents, where we were able to kind of breathe some new life into it. Yeah. But I love that I can come sit here, whether it's at my desk or at the sofa.
How can you not be inspired in a space like this? All right, let's see what's next. Well, continuing the theme of the notions of space saving, but this has a bit of a different feel from the fun and whimsy of the first floor.
And it needed to feel serene and almost boutique hotel-esque.
Well, it's enough to want serenity, but how do you do it? It feels like to me, the turquoise, some of the Pan-Asian influence, and these pendant lights, like a geodesic dome on each side of the bed, to me that just feels calming.
It does, and once again, the message of surround yourself with colors and things that feel good to you. So teal is one of my favorite colors, and these lights caught my eye, and the inside is actually a gold foil, so it has a really warm glow. I knew they had to go together.
And then to take the wallpaper from the midpoint of the wall all the way up through the expanse of the ceiling gives it another feel of warmth.
It does. It kind of creates almost like a canopy, if you will, and it helps anchor the headboard. So many times people think, oh, well, that's the ceiling, I can't do anything with it. You can play visual tricks by running up the wall and onto the ceiling.
So looking at the television wall, which is the border between the sleeping quarters and the bathroom, one might call it paneling. It looks more like tongue and groove flooring, and it is substantial.
You know, it literally is the flooring, and we ran it up onto the wall. The great thing about this wall in general is adding some warmth. The wood onto a wall surface just creates more textures for your eyes to play off of. But this wall does triple duty for us. It is the divider to the bathroom. It has a niche to tuck the TV, and then this peekaboo window into the shower was like one of the reasons I purchased the home.
Well, and once again, the dark stain on the wood, opening things up, creating that void you were talking about before. But talk about the walk-through shower, which does give it that European sort of boutique hotel feel.
It does. So I cannot take credit for this beautiful design. This was one of the major selling points for the home that we fell in love with. But the really creative thing about this is just like mirrors help space feel bigger, this window into the shower allows the light from that window to filter in and allows more sunlight into the middle of the space, just making it feel bigger.
Looking forward to seeing what's next. All right, Rachel, in the backyard, continuing the theme of extending the living space. Beautiful pergola, wraparound couch, kind of anchoring the area. A lot of living to do back here.
Absolutely, and that was really the goal when we expanded our backyard. This beautiful pergola allows for a ton of shade, and it really needed to accommodate multiple people.
I noticed the shrub anchoring the sofa, almost like a sofa table would do. And then over here, you've extended the dining space with a brick paver patio and a real nice, roomy outdoor table.
It's true, and honestly, that was something that was really, really important. Knowing that we, as interior designers, have to be cognizant of how people are going to utilize space, we wanted to make sure there was ample space for lounging, but that there was a ton of space for sitting down, enjoying a meal, and having some good conversation.
Well, they say fences make great neighbors. They also make great design statements, both the cyclone fence and the panel fence here, painted black, bold fence color choice.
It's true. It was something that I hemmed and hawed over all last year, and I got the pandemic bug and got my husband some black paint and said, we're going to make a bold statement here. And I absolutely love that it helps anchor the backyard and also makes the wood pergola that much more special.
Well, I love the way you've taken what might be called limited space and made it very comfortable and livable. And I think that's what you specialize in. After seeing all of this, some design advice for maybe other professionals and for novices like me as well. How do you really maximize the space versus the creature comforts?
Oh, such a good question. It really comes down to design should be strategic. The last piece of the puzzle is the ornamentation and the decoration and the things that make it beautiful. But we always say start with understanding the function. Who's going to be using the space, what activities, and especially when you have a home with a small footprint, you have to make sure you capture those functionalities off the bat.
make sure the furniture is going to accommodate it, and then just infuse the space with personality of things that make you feel good.
And you can't spell functionality without fun, and you've definitely nailed it. Rachel, thanks so much for having us in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If you had to imagine a residence that sat perfectly on a wooded lot here in the state of Michigan, designer Dawn Jacobs' Cedar Cape Cod style home definitely comes to mind. Dawn purchased the home about a year ago with her husband, and at 2,450 square feet, it's perfect as their children go off to college and start their own lives. Dawn's client work demonstrates her commitment to creating spaces that reflect her clients' personal tastes, and that extends into her own home. So let's go meet Dawn and go inside. Hey, Dawn.
Hi, Fred.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Sure,
Come
I'm
on
looking
in.
forward to seeing what you've done here. Hey, every transformation comes with a story. Give us a couple words on the overall journey that led you here.
I actually started here by staging the house. The house was not for sale yet. They were getting ready to sell the house. I walked in and I fell in love with it. It was all knotty pine when we moved in, and it was pretty dark. So we painted it. It was a huge process going over knotty pine, but it really brightened the house up and updated it.
And a design challenge for you, but I guess you're up to it. And before we move ahead, I also notice, you know, for the last 50 years or so, we've all gotten bifold doors in our houses. You came up with a very creative solution.
Yes, this was a antique pair of doors from India that we had imported and made this our entryway. The house is not really large, so the mirrors help enlarge the space.
Yeah, just one of those design elements. All right, let's head on through to the living space where, gosh darn, it opens up to such a beautiful rustic feel. Now, one might say this stone fireplace is the star of the show, but I have to say, the beams, the joists, the supports from these timbers,
Yes.
really gives it a run for its money.
Yes, the logs we did not want to touch any, as far as painting. This was one of my favorite things in the house. We always wanted to have a log cabin. I've had all different kinds of houses. I like things that are a little bit unique. And I was in love with this when I came in. When I walked in the door and saw this room, this was it.
We know home design, like a marriage, is the art of compromise.
Yes.
So how is it when you went through, what was the conversation like about what to paint and what to leave natural?
Okay, so my husband and pretty much all the men who came in the house thought it should stay natural. And we're so wooded in here. It was beautiful, but it just needed to be brighter for me. I like light. So my husband said, okay, we can do it. And just a few days before we were gonna paint, he changed his mind. I told him to put a for sale sign in the yard then because I needed it brighter. So he said, okay. And when it was painted, he said, I love it. I love it. I should have trusted you. So.
Well, looking around how this room is accessorized, I do see some of the male influence, not the least of which are the twin leather recliners. Those are beautiful pieces.
Thank you. My husband had a few things he wanted. He wanted recliners, antler chandelier, which you'll see later, and a rustic table. So he didn't have a lot of things he wanted, so it's easy for me.
Looking at the circumference of the room and the layout of the walls, a particularly challenge to get a flat screen hung on the wall. How'd you tackle that?
Just thought about how I want to live first. People design their whole room around the television. And I wanted it to be about conversation. I didn't even have a television on the first floor in our last house. So we tucked it in a corner here. It's on a mount so it can pull out. And when we watch TV, it's right there, but it's tucked away.
Heading into the kitchen, listen, I'm immediately drawn to this range, stove, oven. Now this looks like it's for someone who loves to cook.
It looks like it's for someone who loves to cook, but for me, it's someone who loves the way it looks.
Yeah.
I'm not a great cook, but it's a lot easier with a nice range, that's for sure.
Well, the brass accents on the knobs and the handles really gives you a nice period feel.
Yes, yes. This was really the starting point of the whole kitchen, was the range.
And moving out from that starting point, your sense of design, we need an island, but you kind of took it in a different direction. This is really a beautiful piece.
Thank you. It's not a very large kitchen, so I wanted an open feel for the island, so it's a furniture piece. And then on the other side, it's open for just everyday, the things we use every day, easy to reach.
Makes it nice and
dishes.
easy. Got some drawers, some pulls here. And it also gives you a little bit of freedom and flexibility, I guess,
Yes.
to move it in place.
Yes.
Well, let's head on over to the dining room. As we walked on, I'm struck by the flooring. What are the materials? It really is beautiful. And what was the challenge in getting it into the house and taking out the old stuff?
Okay, so this is a French oak engineered wood floor. I wanted it to be rustic, like the house. And also, it's really easy to clean, matte finish. I have 3 dogs, so I wanted the whole house to be really family friendly.
Yeah, and speaking of family friendly, moving into the dining room, this seems like a very nice place to gather, whether you're doing something a little more formal or casual on the day-to-day. And the table also has a beautiful finish. And then my eye moves toward the bump glass cabinet. You know, people got their Depression era glass in there, and that's an heirloom. And I have to say, I think you're vindicated because the way it sets against that white wall really makes it pop. Is that a special piece?
Yes, it is. It was my mother-in-law's, and I inherited it from her. So it's very special. That was one of the things we wanted to incorporate somewhere in the house.
Yeah, and you know, a bit of serendipity gives it a little bit of that Amish feel. All right, well, hey, let's move into the screen porch, which is the highlight of this home. Dawn, I don't know how many wow moments you can have in one house tour, but here is another one. A beautiful screen porch with an area for entertaining and just about everything else.
Yes, it's there's my husband's antlers.
Yeah,
That's one thing he wanted, and he wanted this big rustic table that actually expands so we can have the whole family sit together.
Well, you have a nice dining spot, you know, in the woods with that rustic feel, but there's relaxation to be had as well. Talk about this seating area, a more family space, more casual encounters, just feeling at home in a place that feels remarkably homey.
Yes, we pretty much have a dining area, a living area, and a sleeping area.
Every room has its star, and for this one, it's got to be, this is a bed, but it's also on a swing. I think it's calling for me right now to take a nap.
Yes, it is. This is what we fight over. It's just a place you can lay down. I'm actually going to put some blinds in here so we can actually sleep out here on a nice night. It's really that comfortable. So yeah, that's the sleeping area. We could really live out here in the summer.
Just an exquisite space.
Thank you.
Wow, this is a beautiful wall design.
Thank you. It actually used to be a vanity and a closet, but I remodeled and moved the closet door to this side.
Wow, it's beautiful. Again, with the forest view and a lot happening in here. I always love to pick the brain of a designer. The first thing I see in here is this bold choice of the charcoal dark wall on the headboard side of the bed.
Well, this room actually the whole color palette of the house started with this pine hollyhock fabric, where it's got browns and charcoals and creams. And then the second thing was this bed was one of my design clients, and she was moving and getting rid of it, and I thought it was perfect with the oak leaves with my house. So the bed, the drapery, and then the dark wall just made the bed pop.
The hollyhock here to greet us.
Yes.
I drawing all these design elements together, what was your vision on the vanity and how that can be both functional and beautiful?
Well, I do not like spending a lot of time getting ready in the morning. So if I'm going to be getting ready, I wanted a place to sit down and put my makeup on. So this was an important part to me versus just sinks and counter space, and I can put all my clutter away.
With a tip of the hat to the rustic feeling of the overall house, the claw foot pedestal tub really draws the elements from outside the home into this bath area.
So actually, I'm a bath taker. I know a lot of people don't care about bathtubs, but this is my third clawfoot tub I've had.
Wow.
The other ones were white. I really wanted to do black, but I love my bathtub. So this is actually the same tub I had in my last house, just in a different color, because I was afraid to switch it up because it was so comfortable.
Hey, you find something you like that works, you stick with it. I want to go back to the main living room and talk a little bit about the process and how you came to decide on so many of these elements. Well, Donna, it's a beautiful home, a beautiful space, and it strikes me walking through it with you that it is a series of both major and micro choices you've made. It changes that give it its overall feel, and I just wonder, like, how do you know when you're right, or how do you know when you've gone maybe too far?
Designing a house, decorating a house is like an art project, and things aren't always right at first. You have to play around with things a little bit.
The place is so uniquely Michigan, and yet well within range of the city and all that it offers. Dawn, thank you so much for the tour. It was great.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Now, taking on a large renovation project takes nerves of steel, which is exactly the life that Cheryl and Tony have been living over the past year. So instead of moving to a larger home, Tony and Cheryl chose to renovate their lower level to add new, entertaining space that they will use for years to come. Cheryl has a passion for designing timeless classic interiors, and she specializes in making large, newly constructed homes feel warm and comfortable. So let's meet Cheryl and go inside. Well, here in the beautiful kitchen of Cheryl and Tony Nestro, Tuto Interiors. This, Cheryl, is the first room that you renovated. Kind of surprised, though, that it was done quite some time ago. It still looks fresh.
I like to create spaces that are timeless. I wanted to be able to walk in here, love it 10 years later, and it is 10 years old.
The lighting really just basks you in a glow, especially this time of day. Speaking of timelessness, we've been all using islands for quite some time, but they really are super functional, and you like to use the island space for a multitude of purposes. This one, perfectly square. Don't see that all that often.
Islands today are humongous, but we decided to do a smaller island actually so that we could do a sitting area in front of the fireplace.
We talked about the seating area. Let's take a look at that, where Rocky is holding court. Now, this is a nice use of space as well, inside the kitchen, but also a place for relaxation.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, TV is up quite high for most spaces, but I did that purposely. You know, when we renovated the kitchen, I refinished the fireplace, and I put a finish over the tile that was there. I didn't want to lower it. I didn't want to get into that whole renovation scene. So TV is up higher, but that's okay in the kitchen, because when I'm cooking, I love to cook, by the way, and when I'm cooking, you know, the TV is, when you're standing, is perfect. And believe it or not, we sit in these chairs a lot and still watch the TV.
Well, the sight lines are perfect for really anywhere in the room. Also notice the double-sided fireplace, which services the sitting area here in the kitchen, but also in the family room as well. Let's take a walk in there and see all that you have going on in the great room. It's, again, just bathed in light. This is a beautiful piece over here, really anchors that wall.
It is, it's my favorite, yeah. It's a piece it's called the Tuxedo, and it's from Hickory Chair. And you know, you can do 60 different finishes, etc. But yeah, it houses the TV. It's an armoire, the doors retract on the sides. And yeah, it's just it's a really architecturally beautiful piece in the room.
The other thing that's really dramatic on the way in is the wall covering here. Let's take a look at just this beautiful expanse of fabric and texture.
Yeah, so the wall covering, this particular wall covering, you can do in many different ways. You can do the rivets horizontal like they are, or you can do them vertical, or you can do them horizontal and vertical, and many different finishes, etc. But in this way, because of the design of this foyer, I just felt like the horizontal rivets were gonna just add the right touch to the wall.
Well, and it's got beautiful flow, both the sconces spaced with the settee anchoring the wall. You have more happening in the house, including downstairs, which is something of a work in progress. Let's go take a look.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
All right, Cheryl, into the walkout, a work in progress, I guess, happens to designers as well. Beautiful use of different spaces here in the lower level kitchen. Tell me what's going on here. Beautiful island, beautiful materials.
Yeah, so we decided to renovate this space because it's kind of like a new home here. Yeah. So it's a ranch. I can cook here, I can walk outside, I don't have to walk down steps, etc. The idea for the materials, I wanted a mixed use of materials in this space. So countertop is kind of a little bit more of a rustic gray. As you can see, the backsplash with the niche is white with some navy, and then I have walnut cabinets. We have an iron, really cool iron rustic leg for the sides of the island. I just love the idea of having a lot of mixed use materials down here.
Let's head over to the dining area. This is nearly there. Beautiful table and what do you call that behind it, a bench?
Banquette, yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
so this was a custom made table. I can do it any size, any way I want. It's 120 inches wide. Have about 90 finishes to choose from, so these were my finishing elements. We have 5 chairs that are not in yet. I wanted to, when you walk down the stairs, I wanted to have a really big impact on this back wall, so that's the reason why I did the navy. Plus it works with the cabinetry there. The metal art is from an artisan in Royal Oak called Steve from Patra Studios. And he did a magnificent job. I folded some small paper and kind of told him the way I wanted it. Went back and forth looking at finishes a couple of times, like 3 or 4. And he masterfully put that together.
It's a beautiful wall, also accented by some molding work and bordered by the sconces and illuminated from the mini recessed lights coming down, which are variable. Now talk about art. Tell me about this wall covering here, because it makes a statement and it is quite beautiful.
Sure. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I thought, okay, I'm going to do a juxtaposition of a bunch of art on this wall, etc. But in today's world, the wallpaper is extraordinarily gorgeous. So I just felt like I wanted to make this whole wall art. So, you know, the colors worked perfectly. It's big floral. So yeah. That was one of my choices. I think I might have fun with this wall, and you know, in a couple of years from now, I might change it to another style wallpaper. Most of my projects are new construction, so for my clients, we know when to order the goods so that they'll come in and the house is going to be move-in ready. But as you can see, it happens to designers too, because our 2 sofas were supposed to be in this week, and lo and behold, they'll be in next week. So I have a sofa going here and here. I have a couple swivel chairs that will be in this space here. And it'll be super comfortable, super cozy seating space for sure.
Yeah, and that patience with the supply chain is something that you have to always keep in mind, because you know, you don't want to get all worked up about it.
No doubt. So this juxtaposition here, this moves around super easily, so it can service whoever. These come apart. These can be pushed around. This will probably be brought over by the chairs. I did 2 ottomans here, so that when you're sitting in the chairs, if other people want to, in the sofas, other people want to put their legs up, you can pull those out and sit on them, and etc.
The entertainment wall, quite striking and also functional.
Yeah, so the entertainment wall, the material I chose was walnut, which is absolutely my favorite material. And I wanted a little bit of a darker, not too dark, but I wanted this to be super classic. Didn't want a tire of it.
Of course, there's another space behind us, separated nicely by some louvers. What's the plan for the space behind?
Yeah, so first of all, this right here is one of my favorite details. This is going to be I don't want to say gym, because we're only going to have one piece of equipment back here. It's not big enough, really. But I didn't want to do the classic glass, whatever. So I wanted a really cool use of material to kind of obscure the space. You can still see through it, but it's obscured. And we will do 4 pieces making the return there. So we're going to have a couple pieces back here, and I am going to put a pool table here.
So your experience as a designer, we talked about the delay in materials, that happens to designers as well. A couple things I see going on in this space. One, advice for folks, designers as well, on how to make something timeless. Plan for your designs to last a decade, maybe 2. Yeah. How do we wrap our heads around that?
So the biggest thing that I would say is do not do impulsive buying. Impulsive buying, you will most definitely choose the wrong thing and you will repurchase in a year from now. So if you do impulsive buying, you're going to end up spending more money in the end. So I like to calm my clients down. I like to make decisions not quickly, well thought out. I absolutely love for my clients to love everything in the home. If you're passionate and love it, you're going to like it and it's going to stand the test of time.
Well, I know a good outline when I hear one. Cheryl Nestro, along with your husband Tony, this is a great work in progress. Certainly looking forward to seeing all of it come to fruition, but beautiful as it is. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We are in for a treat. Designer Barry Harrison is going to guide us through his 120-year-old beach cottage in Douglas, Michigan. The cottage, which sits on an acre of land near Lake Michigan, was originally built by the Wicks lumber family. Now it's the weekend getaway for Barry and his friends. It's like being transported back to simpler times. Much of the home is original and very different than the show-stopping residences he and his business partner of more than 25 years, Arturo Sanchez, had designed for their clients. To create truly customized pieces, the duo have started their own furniture line, which is available in design centers across the country. We're going to see some of that handiwork inside.
Hey Fred,
Hey,
how
Barry.
are you?
Good to see you. Oh, it's a beautiful place. Wow.
Thank you.
Really
Yeah.
is amazing. I mean, the first thing obviously you see is this wraparound porch, exposure
Yeah.
on 4 sides, and a lot of glass.
Yes, 296 windows. Plenty of windows to wash at all times.
The other thing that jumps out at me, this is from the lumber family, is the window panes, all natural wood, in the
Yes.
ceilings as well.
And the glass is almost all original, so it's really distorted.
It's a lot of glass.
A lot of glass, and with the main panels of glass, you can even see lines in them. When you're looking through both sections of glass, it distorts the people walking on the street to the point it's really kind of cool.
Originally from Kentucky.
Originally
a
from
lot of southern
Kentucky.
flourishes in here.
Yes.
Things that are, I guess, mean a lot to you.
Yes, a lot of
including
family things.
Talk about the lantern collection you have there.
Yes, my father's lanterns, always, we were out on a farm and always kerosene lanterns, and my grandmother's milk stool. My father owned gasoline stations, so this is his measuring stick. If you knew the length of the tank and the diameter of the tank, you could then tell how many gallons of fuel was in the tank.
Oh, it's amazing.
So it's fun stuff.
Looking forward to heading inside.
Yes,
Let's
come
go on
in,
in.
come in.
Lots happening here in the main living quarters, including this horse sculpture on the wall, which I guess is your design work.
Yes, it is. I'm an artist at heart and an interior designer by trade. But actually, it's a wire sculpture, but it's a horse blanket, a fly blanket actually, from the 1940s, made out of leather. And then there are lots of other objects in the room that we deal with. There's a Birch Casem lamp, which was, actually they went out of business after Hurricane Katrina. We loved the line, and then we had a piece over here, and then actually we made our version of the Birch Casem lamp with that.
Well, and the significant piece over here in the corner comes with a story as well.
Yes, my mom and dad from a dry county in Kentucky just cringes when they see it as a bar, but originally it had our black and white TV on it, and then it had a color TV and ended up with a flat screen TV on it. And now I have it as a bar.
That's beautiful. Such an eclectic mix here in the dining room. Some of the things you've created, some of the things you've added. Got to start with the push button light switch, which is period.
Yes, there are 3 of them. It runs the whole entire first floor of the house. The three push button switches.
Don't see those much anymore.
No.
And then you talked about experimentation on behalf of your clients, the plumber's pipe on the window drapes.
Yes, they mount on the floor and one's in the center. It's just something, we tried. I don't know if I'd ever sell it to a client.
Well, the other thing I noticed in here is a lot of yellow. A lot of yellow touches,
a
starting
little
with
yellow
these lights
everywhere.
here.
Yes, I had a great idea to buy these things. We could take walks and light them up at night, but you can see why they didn't work so well.
That's like a kettlebell.
Exactly, yes.
All right. Tell me about the table. Interesting feel and finish to this table.
Yeah, we made the table at our studio, and it's actually got a canvas wrap top like an old Chris Craft boat. Then once the oil paint goes on it, it shrinks tight. It's really durable, so it's a lot of fun.
And then the chairs that you've added?
Yeah, I have 16 of them. They're from a factory in Poland, and I actually have the original prototype and then 15 additional chairs.
Illuminating this whole section of the house are the lights that you designed.
Yes, we made those lights as well as our studio. They're big and light, and brings the light all around the room.
Great work by you and Arturo.
Yes.
One of course notices the sailboat.
Yes, had the sailboat in the other house, brought it here, and actually with the sun coming in, just got draperies recently. Actually just gives me a little privacy.
Now Barry, this is where you get a lot of family touches, but also some of the period design. The first thing here in the kitchen I see is these tongue and groove cabinets.
Yes, originally they were brown like most of the things in the house. The house was dark colors, you know, being built in 1900. So it was dark colors. Everything in the house was brown. So I lightened it all up with white paint.
And of course it's filled with those beautiful yellow.
Bybee pottery, yellow. Every cupboard's filled with them. There's lots of it around.
Good stories about the serving utensils. This is something that you
Yes,
made a design.
I make my own utensils. And actually when I go to a friend's house and they have a campfire, I always take one of the logs home, make them a utensil and give it to them. So, and I really like when utensils have two purposes in each end.
Well, we can't talk about the kitchen without talking about the table. There's a fun story there.
Yes, the table originally looked like bamboo and I painted it white, but actually the seat cushions are Pollock fabric. Pollock's known for silk. It's a very world famous fabric company, but now they're making exterior fabrics as well.
Barry, a lot of touches in the home on fish, including the kitchen light.
Yes, the fish lights. They're made from vellum. I first make a wire aperture, and then each scale is cut separately, made into fish. My goal is I have 2 of them now that are lit, eventually having lots of the ceiling filled with fish.
Well, let's land on the central feature of this kitchen, best for last, and that's your mom's pie safe.
Yes, we used to keep our food in it, but now, you know, we don't do that anymore. But yeah, it's a favorite piece with the 10 doors.
Gotta love
you
those.
Remember those?
Gotta love those 10 windows.
Yes.
And a beautiful family memory.
Yeah.
Let's head upstairs.
Sure. Yeah.
Got the refinished stairs here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I noticed this this canvas stair runner. Stop here for a second.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to walk on it.
No, it's artist canvas, but it's an oil-based paint. It's as we did years ago, oilcloth floors, and of course we have more sculptures.
And making Barry more art up ahead.
Of course.
Let's get over here in the hallway where I see this magnificent painting. It's got to be 6 foot by 6 foot.
Yeah, close to it. It's a horse facing the bedroom. So yeah, oil on canvas. Last year I painted horses. The year before was chickens. I'm not sure what this year will be.
Well, you design so many things, and this is just such a great representation of you and of course your work. Now, no summer cottage would be complete without a beach read library, and you have one here.
I have one. I offer free books to anyone who comes. They can have a romance novel. My sisters make fun of my bookcase. They say everything on it is outdated. I have hardcover books, rotary dial telephone, and quilts.
Well, tell me about the quilts. There's a special significance to this one.
Yes, this is actually made from my sister's dresses in the 1970s. Can you imagine wearing polka-dotted dresses?
Well, I can only imagine. Speaking of sisters.
Yeah, we have
sisters
2
waiting for you outside. Let's go take a look.
Okay.
And of course, here are the sisters, actually a pair of 1958 Nash Ramblers Seafoam Green, Barry.
Seafoam Green, yeah. And they were bought as a pair. The wife drove the sedan, and the husband and the wife drove the station wagon as a vacation car. They've got the stickers from where all the vacations they went on. So I bought them as the pair. They've never been separated, the sisters.
Let's take it back here. We got a piece of art toward the back of the cottage.
The Corten steel sculpture There's a thing we make at our studios as well. It's really fun. It's all steel. And then, of course, you know, my horse.
Well, it makes sense to end. And I guess what's the calling card of the cottage here on Main Street?
Yeah, you don't really need an address 149. You just say, stop at the Red Horse.
Well, it is so beautiful, but when I'm looking at all that you have here, it's kind of a confluence of the old and contemporary designs. I know your firm, Art Harrison, does a lot of work for clients. For you, though, does your art drive your designs, or is it more, do you more start with a function and the art follows?
Well, we kind of start with a function in the very beginning, but we like building special things, special houses, one of a kind. And that sometimes, you know, that becomes a part of the client has to have some participation in doing that.
And here in your personal space, you certainly have created something special. Barry Harrison, it's been wonderful to be with you. Thank you for having us in.
Thank you, yes, it's been wonderful. Thank you.
When a lot became available in the small gated development in Saugatuck, Michigan, designer Kevin Serba bought it sight unseen. Fact is, only a few homes share this wooded stretch that's also surrounded by a nature preserve, so Kevin didn't want the opportunity to pass him by. Kevin Serba has been designing homes and interiors for his clients for more than 20 years, and he really excels at creating clean and classic spaces that reflect a personal touch. Here in Saugatuck, he used his new home site to its best advantage when he tucked a 4,800 square foot dwelling into the side of a bluff. Let's go on up and check it out. Wow, what a place. Hey Kevin, how you doing?
Fred, nice to meet you. How are you?
Thanks for having us in.
Oh, you're welcome.
Just standing in, the first thing I noticed, the glass, the steel, the cedar cladding.
Yep.
Just draws everything into these spectacular views.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to bring the outside in and kind of right through the whole house.
Hey, let's go inside.
Come on in.
Entering into the living space, more of that wide open feel, yet it's homey and yet sleek and uncluttered.
Yeah.
How do you achieve that?
Well, basically, you know, it started with the floor plan and a lot of neutral tones. I like to use the neutrals because it kind of brings the outside in, allows your eye to continue on without being stopped by anything. Used a combination of textures from leather to chenille. I like doing a day bed. It's super comfortable for watching, you know, TV at night. Also just, you know, seeing over it instead of having something with a back on it.
Well, it all feels very contemporary, and yet there's a nod to the earliest 20th century designers. Tell us about these chairs.
Yeah, these are a Northern European antique chair that I purchased and brought overseas and have reupholstered and refurbished all the wood. Really comfortable too, just a great spot to sit and have a cocktail at night.
And what's this covered with?
Mohair.
Oh, funky.
Yeah.
What about personal entertainment, video, movies, and the like?
Well, I'll show you. Basically, we've done a lot of surround sound and great speakers throughout the room, but we've also hidden the TV behind some panels here. So we pop the artwork down and the flowers, and it's a great spot to watch TV.
Ah, that's great. So when it's on, it's there, and when it's off, recedes right into the wall.
Yeah.
A few steps away from the kitchen. This is the heart of the home. It seems you have some variable materials in here on the counter, on the island, on the counter. Tell us about how this all came together, including what I guess would say is a lack of cabinetry.
Yeah. So I designed this kitchen myself, and it's the first one I've usually worked with a kitchen designer, but I really laid everything out in this kitchen myself. And what's great about it is, you know, all the dishes, the glassware are all in drawers. The dishes are all in drawers, which is great. So you're not reaching up, you know, to pull things down.
Tell us about this painted glass wall. This to me seems like a genius application.
Well, originally I wanted to do tile in the room and decided that it was going to be a little too heavy. So I needed something durable and just decided I'd give that a shot. So we painted a piece of glass and had some outlets there originally, got rid of those, and it just worked out great because it just sort of disappears, which is what I wanted.
Well, we made all this great food. We got to eat it somewhere. Tell me about the dining room. Let's
All right.
head over here. Talk about these pendant lights.
Yeah, these are also custom from Urban Electric, and they're just a really cool fixture because the angles, and when I did them, I picked the size and the glass and the finish, so they're really kind of cool. And I didn't see one fixture here, I really saw more than one, so it worked out pretty well.
Well, it's beautiful, and it's accented with a large mirror on the wall, and then beneath, mirroring the kitchen and the rest of the room space, is this floating console, literally without legs.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of wanted it to feel like it was floating, and the mirror kind of brings the outside back in again. And I did these art tracks and suspended the art pieces from them, and you'll see those throughout the house too, because I like to rotate the art around. I don't like to keep the same pieces in the same spot all the time.
Wow. Got to stop you here. Talk about creating big drama in small spaces. The view of the staircase from this butler's pantry is amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I wanted a floating staircase, and I love the contrast of the black iron with all the white. Really, you know, is very sculptural. Pretty cool.
And as beautiful as this passage is, and the views that it affords inside the house, it's also functional. This is the butler's pantry with lots of features.
Yes, we have a wine fridge, we have a dishwasher, we have a ice maker, a bar right behind me here, and a coffee station. So it's quite a bit of storage. Again, everything's hidden behind, but it's such a great space for entertaining because it keeps people out of my kitchen. They're in here and they're doing their own thing, which is great.
Literally.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take it upstairs.
Sounds good.
Kevin, once again, as you turn the corner, the views are the star of the show.
Yeah, this is like being in a treehouse for us because we have a preserve behind us here, so it's all natural and nothing but trees. So it's really a cool spot, and no neighbors to see over here at all, which is great.
I also noticed two opposing design walls. Talk about the fireplace first.
Yeah, the fireplace, we did limestone on the wall and did a little higher fireplace, so when you're laying in bed, can have the fire on a cold morning, which is great. And did the drapes just to soften the wall down a bit. And then the bed, I designed a custom headboard, built the wall out a little bit, did leather panels on it.
Tell me about the silk panels over the headboard.
Yeah, those are DeGournay panels. They're all hand painted. They're numbered, so there's 5 panels, and they all kind of work together. And the colors just worked great in here. So I wanted something to kind of make the outdoors come in again.
Hey, let's move on to the ensuite. Lots happening here. We're going to talk about it, but start with the dramatic use of what I guess would be called color. It's gray and it's black and it's tile, and yet it feels vibrant.
Yeah, the marble has a lot of character to it. I was able to use a herringbone in the shower, which has worked out really great. Kind of defines the space. And a lot of the dark neutral, but with a contrast of the bright white.
And talk about functional. What's not apparent to the eye upon entering this room is the medicine cabinets, but that's definitely something worth looking at.
Yeah. So I designed this just to be kind of hidden. No hardware or anything. It works out great. Gives tons of storage on both sides, which works out really good.
Let's finish up with the 0-degree shower. This seems like a very relaxing space.
Yes, it's what's great about starting new and building a new home is you can eliminate that curb, which can really be a tripping hazard. So it worked out really great to be able to do that, and it's just on a cold day, it's a great spot to sit on that bench and take a steam.
I noticed that the glass goes all the way to the ceiling, which indicates that there's a steam unit in there. Does it take a long time to heat up?
Oh, no, just minutes, yeah.
And it's something that you can build new in a construction home or even retrofit.
Yep, for sure.
The power of steam.
Yeah.
Hey, let's head outside and see what's doing. All right, Kevin, one more stop before we get outside. Well, and in every room we've been through, there's some piece of drama. And I think for the screen and porch, it's got to be the skylight.
Yeah, the skylights were designed really to give a little more light in the kitchen, which works out really great. Because we get a lot of morning light through here, and otherwise it'd be kind of dark in there, so it worked out really good.
Well, and beyond all the features and the accessories, this just seems like a really nice place to gather.
It is. It's a great spot for breakfast. As you can see, I've set the table. We have friends coming for dinner tonight, so it's going to be a great evening.
Let's head outside.
Sounds great.
Well, almost to the end of our time together, standing here just steps away from your beach access, but I have to say, not your traditional summer cottage. A lot of thinking and passion went into the design.
Yeah, it did. It's interesting because this is basically a bowl. It's a sand dune with, you know, we have a 50-foot drop in the back and just covered with trees. So there was a lot of engineering and thought had to go into doing the concrete and supporting all of this.
Well, Kevin Serba, it is a dramatic, beautiful space. Thanks so much for having us in.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a wonderful experience touring each of these 6 unique and spectacular homes. If the program has inspired you to take on a new challenge in your home, a redesign, remodel, or renovation, consider calling a professional designer. This video tour has been presented by the Michigan Design Center in Troy, home to more than 35 showrooms filled with exclusive fabrics, tiles, wall coverings, furnishings, and more. Everything you need to help create the home of your dreams. The showrooms at Michigan Design Center have resources you won't find anywhere else in Michigan. You can learn more at michigandesign.com. For more information about the designers and the resources they use when designing their homes, download the companion resource guide you received with your ticket link. You're also invited to contact the designers themselves with any further questions.